Dr. Michael Berglund is a chiropractor, internist, and has a degree in medical technology. He's also the author of this book, Sick and Tired. Thanks so much for joining us today on Harvest. And man, you love the thyroid. This is all about the thyroid. So, you know, what inspired you to write this? Why are you so passionate about the thyroid?
Well, I just wanted to help people. I've got 20 years in practice, and I've got patients that are just, I've got a whole history of patients that have just had their lives changed with what I've done. And so I just thought at some point when a publisher approached me and asked me if I wanted to write a book, and I'm like, I'd love to write a book to help people. And this is the primary reason is there's a bunch of people that are falling through the cracks of the system. They've had their thyroid blood test done, and they found out, well, it says it's normal. And yet they look online and they go, gosh, it looked like I had this, I had this, I had this, I had this. I would have thought I was, but I guess I'm not. And so you start looking at it. It's kind of like playing hide and seek and looking at a closet and going, I don't see this person, and then going, I've already checked there, and then looking at the rest of the house, and you go, you can't find that person. But you think, well, maybe they're in that. No, I already checked that closet. It's not there. But you just didn't look well enough, or you didn't do it. Same thing with this. It's like the doctors have said this TSH is the test to screen for thyroid problems, for hypothyroidism. Is the
test ever correct?
Test is correct, absolutely. And some people have had, that's the reason they're on Synthroid, Levoxyl, even Armour, because they've had that test show up positive. So when it's high, well, here's the problem. When the TSH is high, that means your thyroid's running low. Okay? So in this situation, when these people have had their TSH be high, then they get put on medicine until it gets into the range. Now some people, they're fixed. That works for them. They're done. That's not the people this book's for. Okay? This book, you know, Tired of Being Sick and Tired, is all about the people that either got treated and got into that range, but they still have all these thyroid symptoms left, or the people that were in the range to start with, and the doctor goes, you're fine.
So what happens with the test then? When the test comes back and so you're fine, and yet they still have all these symptoms, what's happening?
Well, that's when the challenge is, because obviously the doctor is the expert. Okay, and they know what they're talking about, and so you know, who are you to actually come in here? You're a mechanic, you're a librarian.
Yeah, because we were just talking about
I hate the internet. You know, everybody thinks they're a doctor. I went to school. You know,
after looking at this, I can imagine the conversation with the doctor where you come in and you go, "I'm low on thyroid," and he's going, "No, you're not," and you're going, you know, you drive a bus for a living. What do you know? Well, I read a book about it.
I read a book about it.
Yeah.
There's a chiropractor, a chiropractic internist, and it's like, oh gosh, I got one of these patients, you know, and and I know what they're saying, but in the end, all you have is you're accountable for you. Okay, so you know, if you went to a mechanic and your mechanic goes, your car's fixed, and you go, every time I turn right, there's a loud thunking sound. Yeah. And he goes, I never heard that.
Yes, and it makes you feel like you're imagining something.
We ran the diagnostics and it came back fine.
Hooked up the computer, it's all good. You're just imagining it, or it's nothing. Live with it. Your car's, and you go, but I spent $35,000 in this car. It should run right. Yeah. And so you're turning it right and it's thunking, it's embarrassing to you, and you think maybe something's really going on here. So you take it to a different mechanic, right? And so that's what you need to do. You just need to kind of, and if you can't find a mechanic in town that does this, then you guess what? You pull out the you know, the Audi or the Fiat or the, you know, Ford manual, and you just figure out going, I guess either I live with this or I have to figure it out, and then you get a book and you figure it out.
Okay, so what are the symptoms of an overactive thyroid and an underactive thyroid?
Good question. Underactive it's lengthy, it's extensive, but the key things, usually people, especially if they're women, they're cold, they're tired, they gain weight rather easily. The hair is usually...
this is me.
The hair...
I'm saying in my mind, okay, check. No, that doesn't a potato check. No, that one. Okay, continue.
But you know, the hair usually feel like it's thinning. People, their skin is dry. Nails crack, break, peel rather easily. They can have a history of depression, of infertility. There's a variety of different things that can be going on the hypothyroid. So the list is pretty long. I have acne people that, because one of the things that the thyroid does is it converts beta carotene to vitamin A. One of the key ingredients to helping people with acne, which is why we have Accutane and some of these other things, they're vitamin A metabolites, but they've been changed so they can make them, make sure they're profitable for the drug companies. Yeah. But the idea is they're vitamin A, and vitamin A works great for people with acne. So, there's some things we just go, wow, that's great. Now, hyperthyroid feels like, jittery, shaky, heart racing.
Is it possible to be both?
Yes, actually it is. You can have parts of you that are hyper and parts of you that are hypo.
Yeah.
And those are challenging. But now those are tricky for even me in the office. So those are usually ones I'd suggest you find kind of a holistic or natural provider that can help you manage those symptoms, because it gets tricky when you start going you're hyper and you're hypo at the same time.
Okay.
Because here's the thing: I could put you on a supplement and get you all jittery, shaky, and you still have dry hair and nails that crack and break and peel rather easily. Yeah. So that's not really fair. Okay, hey, we're all good now. I'm like, no, I'm not. So that was the wrong. So that was the wrong product. That was the wrong package for you. But we're talking about I talk about products, but the idea here is this is a holistic way of looking at it. And I would say, Paul refers to the church as the body.
Yeah.
And so then the body is like the church. So, if we have a gland if we had a person in the church that wasn't being appropriate and right,
yeah, like
we wouldn't just, right, like you. No, not like you. We wouldn't cast them out of the church. We wouldn't cut them out. We wouldn't stick duct tape over their mouth.
Right.
We wouldn't, well, some churches might, but that's not the appropriate way.
Ideally,
Jesus says we shouldn't do that, okay?
Yeah.
So ideally, we wouldn't do that. So in this situation with the body, why is the first thing, my thyroid's running a little hot, it's running a little high, I'm jittery, I'm shaky, I'm sweaty. Yeah, we need to radiate that puppy.
Yeah.
We need to actually go in there and cut that thing out, because it's like, that's your first thing. It's like people with gallbladder. If you have a gallbladder problems, what's your choice? If you want to do your insurance, your only choice is, well, I can either live with it, suck it up, or get surgery.
Yeah.
And like in the church, we're taught to restore. In the holistic concept, holistic concept is all about restoring.
That's good.
Restoring you to normal function. So to do that, we have to figure out, well, why?
Yeah, well, let's talk some solutions. I mean, you've named every symptom that I have. Is it supplementation? Is it diet?
First and foremost, it's how we live. So it's what we put into our system. So people sit there and going, well, why the thyroid? Why? I said, well, water can affect it. Water? Am I allergic to water? I'm like, no, you're not allergic to water, but they fluoridate and chloridate water. And iodine, which is actively picked up by the thyroid gland, the water has chloride and fluoride, and they're all halogens. They're all on the periodic table. They're all over here in order: fluoride, chloride, bromine, and iodine. And so the thyroid sometimes doesn't know the difference. So it'll pick up fluorine, it'll pick up chlorine, which are poisons, and pull them in, and guess what? They suppress normal function. So all of a sudden your thyroid goes, oh, and there's this sickness in there and a suppression that says we're not going to function. We're not going to function right. We're going to function really slow because we're just having a bad day today. And so you keep drinking more water, and it keeps saying to the thyroid gland, just keep under functioning. Yeah. So that's one thing. Okay.
So switch to bottled water.
So it's switch to,
because water in itself is not bad. It's what's in our water.
Well, bottled water, like some of the mineral water that you get out there is just basically tap water from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Artesian water. Well, yeah, right. So some people have a problem with, well, where do I get? Well, ultimately, what you want is a mountain stream, and you scoop up water from there and you drink it from there. Most of us don't have access to a mountain stream by our house.
Yeah.
I love that, but we don't. Okay. So what we do is we have to then pull out all the minerals, the bad, the lead, the mercury, the cadmium, the arsenic, all the bad stuff out of there. But in addition, we're pulling out the calcium and the magnesium and all the good things that were in that water. So unfortunately, it would be nice if we didn't have to, but that's in our municipal water systems, that's what we have to do. Then we have to find a way using like a charcoal filter or something to pull out that chloride and fluoride out of the water. Now, some people say, well, does that mean I'm going to have cavities? No. Cavities come from just overall bad diet. And we found fluorine is a way of jimmy-rigging teeth so that the enamel gets nice and hard. But if you just eat well, there was a guy, Weston Price, that went out throughout the world, and he found that the societies that ate well had good teeth. Societies that ate badly had bad teeth.
Yeah.
It's a lot more complicated than that, but there's a Weston Price Foundation. You can find it online, and you can look up his travels and all the things that he found. But so it's eating right. It's not eating garbage. White flour, white sugar, corn syrup is just junk to our system. And so we eat that stuff, and if we know that some gluten problems actually suppress thyroid function. So then we go, oh, your bagel,
so McDonald's,
your buns, your breads, your pastas, your cakes, your cookies, your crackers, your pizza crust, all that stuff is like could be causing problems in your system. Stress.
That's what I wanted to know about.
Cortisol is known to suppress thyroid function. So, you know, how do I control? Well, that's
so stress can be a trigger.
Stress can be, yes, for hypothyroidism.
Okay.
Okay. So what we and stress causes a lot of problems. I mean, stress pushes us away from this what's called the parasympathetic mode, which is your body's repair, replace, restore. You know, this healing place that we exist in, that our body does all its maintenance, and the sympathetic mode, which is fright, flight, fight. Okay. The sympathetic mode, our body doesn't get anything done other than being chased by a bear or being on TV, right? You know, so there's this sense of,
the same.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Chased by a bear, being on TV, you know, having, you know, yeah, it's the same thing. So, you know, there's this sympathetic mode which suppresses all those. So, you know, you go, my stomach doesn't feel right, my this doesn't do well, and it makes sense though when you say, well, I'm stressed. Yeah, why would your body then care if you're being chased by a bear? It's not really worried about make sure your hair is nice, right? Make sure she has nice shiny hair. Make sure her skin's nice and moist. Make sure her nails grow well. Look, when you're being chased by a bear, forget that stuff. Run. Yeah. Let's put all the resources into the legs, into the arms, and thinking clearly. And so that's what we do.
Interesting. Well, there's a lot of good information in here, and if you'd like to connect with Doctor, you can go to berglundcenter.com, where you can find an easy link at our website. Again, the book is Tired of Being Sick and Tired. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
We'll be right back.